started about 6 or 7 months ago. Yeah, 7 months ago, when we moved into the new house.
The Jamesons had been living at Rodendale House for about a week or so when they rang me up. I'd never heard them sound so worried. Karen told me that she'd never seen Jessica behaving so strangely before.
Jessica had always been a good little girl, ever since she was born. And it had been a few days since we moved to the new house when suddenly she changed.
Jessica would wake up every night. She'd be screaming, covered in sweat, crying. She'd had a bad dream. She wouldn't tell us what it was about. It was the most bizarre thing about it was 3:30 every morning. Every morning.
As time went on, things got worse. She stopped eating, her teachers were worried about her schoolwork, and she barely said a word at home.
Karen's a Christian. She's got strong beliefs, and she thought, well, call Reverend Peters. He's our local vicar, he's a dear friend. I couldn't think of anything better, so we gave him a call.
When Reverend Peters mentioned the possibility of possession, it scared me to the point where I felt physically sick. Surely Jessica wasn't possessed.
Jessica was displaying typical symptoms of demonic possession, but as it hadn't manifested itself into any physical outburst, there's very little I could do about it. So I asked Karen and Adam to keep an eye on her and let me know as soon as anything developed.
Jessica's behaviour escalated to the point where she was lashing out, kicking walls, punching doors. But the scariest and strangest thing that happened was one day we found unexplained scratches all down her back. We knew it was something supernatural then. We knew it was serious.
The final straw came about 2 weeks later. It's something I'll never forget. It's an image that will haunt me for the rest of my days.
I got another call from Mr. and Mrs. Jameson telling me that the situation had got worse. Apparently Karen had walked in on Jessica approaching Sebastian with a dinner knife.
Jessica!
I knew then that the situation had got considerably worse.
Adam isn't religious. He thought exorcisms were superstitious rubbish. But I trusted Reverend Peters. Besides, what other choice did we have?
The day of the exorcism arrived. Reverend Peters came to our house. He told us the order of the ceremony, warned us that she might get violent and we might have to tie her down.
Retracte benedicite. Retracte benedicite. Initially it went without disruption, but it was only when I anointed the crucifix with holy water that we released the demons within her. Dominus legio diabolica. Dominus legio diabolica.
Jessica started to get angry and violent. Karen and I were instructed to tie her hands to the bedposts to stop her hurting herself or anyone for that matter. Oh, the screams, it was unbearable.
Dominus legio diabolica. Dominus legio diabolica.
After Reverend Peters had anointed her forehead with holy water, she went limp, as if she'd passed out. And then it all went silent.
As soon as he gave the signal, Karen and I went over to Jessica. Reverend Peters said she'd been cured.
After the exorcism, Jessica went back to normal. She was sleeping and eating, and her schoolwork was better. Everything was fine.
I'm pleased to say that Jessica's been fine ever since. She's the same happy-go-lucky girl she was before. It's such a relief.
The exorcism was a lifesaver. I honestly don't know what we would have done without it. We're one big happy family again. And that's the way it's gonna stay. I hope.